Before this video starts, I just want to say thank you so much for 5,000 subscribers. It may not seem like a lot, but this channel started about 9 months ago, and seeing the growth is so crazy to me, and none of this is possible without all the love and support. So thank you so much, and if you're not subscribed, go ahead and click that button. As much as their fan bases may not like to admit it, Louisville and Kentucky might be the two most similar teams in the country. They want to push the pace, they want to play through their guards, and they want dribble drive penetration to get wide open threes. Both Mark Pope and Pat Kelsey are offensive wizards with the clipboard, and they always scheme up a way to get their best players in open space. And that similarity was evident in the game that they played. Looking at the box score, all the stats are virtually the same. The field goal percentage, the three-point percentage, the rebounds, the points in the paint, the fast break points. The only main differences in this stat sheet come from the free throw attempts, the assists, and the turnovers, but more importantly, the steals. And the reason those stats are different is because how these teams defended the pick and roll. So let's get into the film and look at the pick and roll defense in this game that ultimately decided the outcome. Starting with Kentucky's defense on Louisville this game, they were in drop coverage or they would go into a late switch depending on the personnel. Drop coverage is where you have the 5-man 2 or 3 feet behind the screener, and he's continuously dropping because his main priority is not to let the roll man get behind him or it's a layup. His goal is to make himself as big as possible while containing this ball handler, waiting for his guard to chase over the screen and recover to the guard. And with Louisville having the best backcourt in the country, they were setting some very physical screens. When these screens were set, the Kentucky big man could not afford to be in drop, or the best guards in the country would have wide open looks, so he would have to step up and switch. The pros of drop coverage are that it's only 2-on-2 defense as you're containing the ball handler, and there's not really much needed from the off-ball defenders. You're also funneling the offense into taking a hard contested 2, and if run correctly, you can really stagnate an offense. One of the biggest weaknesses of drop coverage is it's susceptible to the pick and pop, as if that big decides to just take a step back, now this defender has all this room to cover. But Louisville's big men aren't shooters, so Kentucky didn't have to worry about that. Now the biggest issue of drop coverage on Louisville will come after we talk about Louisville's ball screen defense. Louisville runs pretty much the complete opposite of drop coverage, which is a hard hedge. Unlike in drop coverage where the big man is just containing the drive, the hard hedge wants to attack the guard, pushing him further to half court, giving his guard who's going under the screen time to recover. Now this requires a few things. The first is an athletic big that can push the guard up without getting attacked downhill, and the second is for the 3 backline defenders to be on point and communicating, as they're required to not only tag the roll man to prevent this pass to get made, but they have to make sure that the other players moving off ball don't get an open cut for a layup. But you take a possession like this, where as the man's rolling, look at Isaac McNeely and Ryan Conwell. McNeely doesn't have to worry about this pass to the corner because it's such a far pass he can recover, but Conwell's also shrinking the court, but when the pass gets kicked, Otega-Oweh already has a step on Conwell and he can get to the rim for a layup. One thing you should never do against a hedge is pick your dribble up. When Otega-Oweh picks it up, now everyone that's helping to take away the roll man can go back to their man. Now Mo Diabate's in the pick and roll, and he's a non-shooter, so Louisville's in drop coverage. He makes a great read, and Kentucky knocks down a 3. This is the staple of Kentucky offense. They want paint touches and kickouts, but this is why Louisville won the game. When they hard hedged, Kentucky was not able to get that dribble drive penetration, and their offense looked very stagnant. Now Denzel Aberdeen's in the pick and roll, and he throws a bad pass, and look how far out McNeely is helping. And he can only do that because he knows Michael Brown Jr. is going to help guarding his man. Now Jalen Lowe's running the pick and roll, and Ali Khalifa comes all the way up to hedge. But Lowe is extremely patient, and he waits for Ryan Conwell to come over and tag. When he does that, Otega-Oweh has an open 3, but he just misses it. This is a great look. Now let's talk about Jalen Lowe some more, because he had the most success against the hedge because he's such a shifty and dynamic guard. This time he almost turns the corner on the hedge, which would have been bad for Louisville, but he doesn't. But by stretching out the defense, these 2 backside defenders have to help for longer, and Mo Diabate gets a wide open 3, a shot that both teams will live with. This is what happens when Jalen Lowe does beat the hedge. He's able to get a wide open 3 Because Khalifa was hedging, he got to the paint later than the Kentucky big, so the Kentucky big was able to establish position and grab the offensive rebound. This was my favorite set of the entire game. It starts in a horns, and Jalen Lowe comes off this first screen with this man rolling to the basket. Then the second big man sets a screen, and what you have is two bigs rolling with only one man in help. Jalen Lowe again turns the corner on Ali Khalifa, makes a great pass, and it's an and one for the Wildcats. But something happened in that possession that Kentucky did not do the entire game. That was getting downhill and getting paint touches. Throughout this entire game, when Louisville would hedge, the Kentucky guard would always go backwards instead of getting downhill. Then Louisville did a great job of recovering, and now Kentucky played a lot of iso ball, which fell into Louisville's trap. Possessions like this were extremely common, where after Ortega-Owe attacks the hedge, Louisville recovers and Owe settles for a deep three. Can he make that shot? Yes. But does Kentucky want that shot consistently? I don't think so. Their offense looked pretty stagnant for a Kentucky team, and the lack of paint touches is what I think lost them this game. But let's go over to the flip side and look at what Louisville was doing on the offensive end. Louisville starts off the party as Isaac McNeely is able to get in this high post area to create this angle for a pocket pass. Ortega-Owe jabs that through, and he makes a great kick-out pass for a Ryan Conwell 3. The next possession, we see Mikel Brown Jr. get to that same spot and make a great pass to Isaac McNeely, but he just happens to miss. A couple minutes later, Brown takes it into his own hands, and with this screen being so far out, Denzel Aberdeen goes under to switch, but this is too much space for one of the best guards in the country. This possession highlights the biggest weakness for Kentucky Wildland drop. You're tasking your big man to stay in front of the most dynamic guards in the country while they already have a step coming downhill. This time the screen is set super high up, so Aberdeen goes under to switch, and you just can't expect this big man to contain one of the best freshmen in the country. And I believe this is why Brown had the best game of his young career. He was comfortable the entire time getting inside the three-point line and kicking it out. Ortega-Owe should have got this steal, but he was a step late and Louisville got two more on the board. Look at the lack of pressure on this play. Brown is so comfortable and he gets the switch he wants so easily, then he can just walk down and get fouled for free throws. And it doesn't matter if the point of attack defender fights over the screen, because then they can just flip it and now he has all this space to attack, and this is how you know he was too comfortable. The other thing about drop is when the big man commits to the guard, now the roller is already getting downhill, so when this pocket pass is made, the Louisville big is in complete control and he's able to get fouled. Brown was just making the game easy. This time he gets two on the ball, makes the right read, this help defender has to jab, kick out, wide open three. This is what Louisville wants the entire game, and Kentucky was letting them have it too easily. Check this possession out. Kentucky gives up the switch right away, and Jalen Lowe doesn't want to be matched up on through, so he's yelling to one of his three teammates to take him as he runs to the corner. It's supposed to be the Lowe man, as this corner pass is the furthest pass away, giving Jalen Lowe more time to recover. But when Colin Chandler takes the big, no one's guarding Ryan Conwell one pass away, and it's a wide open shot for one of the best shooters in the country. Kentucky got tired of Brown killing them, so they blitzed him. And he's such a good player, he makes the right read right away and gives it to Ali Khalifa with a 4-on-3. Ali Khalifa is one of the best playmaking bigs in the country, so he manipulates the defense, holding this defender the entire time, making an absolute dime. Kentucky came back in this game because they started making shots and getting out in transition more, while Louisville was just missing open shots they were making earlier in the game. And I know Kentucky's best big man, Jaden Quintance, didn't play this game. I think it would have shaped out a little differently, but ultimately, the reason Louisville won this game is because they were the aggressor. They were dictating what Kentucky did on the offensive and defensive end of the ball, and when you have two teams that are this equal in skill and talent and size, it comes down to who's the aggressor, and that was the Cardinals. So if you made it this far, thank you so much. Again, thank you for 5K. Y'all are the GOATs. I love every single one of you watching this, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.